here. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a roll call, please.
Audrey Adamson. Here. Justin Anderson.
Present.
Chet DeSmet.
Here.
Kate Schaefer. Here. Maria S. Trigueros. Here. Andrew Ware.
Here.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Here. Before we do the reciting of the pledge, I just have a statement to make. As has been my practice for the last few months, I'd like to go over the procedure. We are a public entity. We welcome public discussion, and we always want to hear from the community. Our procedure is that each member wishing to speak is given 5 minutes. Please be aware that the board does not respond to comments. I ask as the board president for civility. I love passionate discussion, but abuse of any kind is not and will never be tolerated. Before we move on, I would like to note that normally I do not dress like I'm exploring the cosmos. But this week is Read Across America Week, and I decided to be Mrs. Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. Mrs. Frizzle, like reading, explores worlds, facts, and possibilities not yet to be imagined. We are here for our students, and let's never forget that reading is the cornerstone of education. Frederick Douglass said, once you learn to read, you will forever be free. I hope everyone will take time to pick up a book and read it this week. All right, and we stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag, States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is the approval of minutes. Minutes of the open session of the regular Board of Education meeting of February 15th, 2022. Is there any discussion? February 14th. February 14th, 2022.
Second.
Is this a roll call or all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is communications, public comment, and participation, and I have one from Lance Neal. You can come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Just one concern that I have, and I think it's a very valid concern, not only for me, but many parents and individuals in this area, and that is to address the satanic clubs that are being introduced to this district. I'm just going to ask a rhetorical question, and that is, what year are we living in? Obviously, we're in 2022. That year is based on one man, actually, Jesus Christ. If you go back, I know that there's, a move to try and change times from AD to ADE and BC to BC and all that. I understand all that stuff. But my point is this. And we just pledged allegiance to God, did we not? Okay. To our republic, for which it stands, one nation under God. This is my premise, is that no other person in all of history has changed time and done what he did, except for the person of Jesus Christ. He changed things so much, gave dignity to children, dignity to women. The followers of Christ and the church have done so much good. Yes, we can look at the sins and the things that should never have happened, because people are fallible. People do have free wills to make choices. Point being, though, that Jesus changed the history of all history, okay? He changed everything in this world. I just want to say a few verses from the Bible. I'm a Christian. John 8:44, talking about Satan. This is Jesus speaking. He says, he was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. John 10:10 says this, that Jesus again speaking, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. And then 1 Peter 5:8 says this, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Okay? So we've allowed satanic clubs, okay? Maybe they'll allow pedophile clubs. Maybe they'll allow some other horrible things I can't mention. Bottom line is this, it comes down to a value system. And it sounds like the value system approved this satanic club. I don't know if you're aware. I know that some people believe that he's not real, he's a fable. Of course, they say they practice benevolence and critical thinking, all these good things. Of course, they're gonna say that, you know, they lie about, you know, the devil's a liar. He works through people, just like God can work through people. The point is this, by authorizing a satanic club, and some of you may not understand this, maybe all of you don't understand this, what you've just done is you've given authority, rightful authority, to allow a spirit that hates every person on earth. We're created in the image of God. Do you not understand what you just did? You've allowed and given authority now to violence and murder, and who knows what else, everything that would slander, hurt, and harm humankind. I would prayerfully ask you to please consider this club is not just any club. Yes, people can choose, and we should always have freedom of choice. But what I'm saying is there's a value system. Whose value system are you going to go by? The one who came to give us life or the one who's looking to give us death? And you've authorized death by allowing the satanic club. They're doing things in the dark they are not going to tell you about. They're not going to be honest and forthright about it. They'll tell you one thing and not the other. Their very name, I mean, look it up. It's very clear who Satan is.
Mr. Neal, your 5 minutes are up.
Okay, so thank you. I ask you to stop the satanic clubs. This is very serious for children. We love children. I'm sure all of you do. This is not a playful matter. This is a very real issue. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to the consent agenda. We have a change. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the actions contained in the consent agenda items B through L as presented. Second. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Chet DeSmet.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Maria S. Trigueros.
Aye.
Andrew Wayer.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. All right, we are now moving on to the recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the actions contained in consent agenda A as presented. Before I ask for a motion, we have our new principal here for next year. If you'd like to just get up and say hello really quick, feel free. Assistant principal, thank you. And John Mayer.
Hi, I know I've met many of you already, but name's Derek Spransky, coming on board as a new assistant principal for next school year at John Deere Middle School. So happy to be on board, and I thank the board and administrators for supporting us and supporting me. So I appreciate it.
We're happy you're here, thank you. All right, may I have a motion, please? Roll call, please.
Chet DeSmet.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Yeah, aye.
Maria S. Trigueros.
Aye.
Andrew Wayer.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Abstain.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Okay, moving on to now. Hold on, I'm getting there. All right, number 6 is the resolution to approve the tentative amended budget for public display to establish a public hearing date. Steve, you want to go over to the recommended motion?
Sure, that'll work. Okay, you guys all have been through this, your seasoned board members, so if I go a little fast, it's really for the website more so than our attention to the detail. Why are we amending? It really gets down to when we did the transfer of funds from the working cash for Aspire that required us to amend the budget. And then while we were doing that, we always align our expenditures to our last AFR. And then there's a lot of things happening with federal money, especially CARES. So we took this opportunity to properly align those. And that's moving very, very fast. And we're lucky, we're getting a lot of federal funds. So there's new federal funds that are coming in that we took advantage of to put in this budget and the expenditures accordingly. So that's the main thing. We're gonna present it tonight. We're gonna put it on display for more than 30 days tomorrow. And then we're gonna have a public hearing on April 11th, and then we'll pass it, and then we'll put it on the ESB. This is just our revenue by sources. If you can see, this is a different chart because typically our local revenue is 70%, our federal is really about 7%. So you can see what an influx of federal funds we have. We're very fortunate at this time. So that's the only interesting or new thing about this chart versus the other times. The same thing, everything's the same, revenues by source, expenditures by object, everything is typical as we see. But now if we talk a little bit about, what are the new in revenues and new in expenditures that we get? The EFAB, which is a state aid, you remember they put $300 million in, that wasn't reflected in our original budget. So we were fortunate enough to get the $1.8 million additional, and it looks like we're fortunate enough that the governor is probably gonna support that this year, so good news. Federal, we have the ESSER money. We also have American Rescue Plan that was new. It's really for IDEA, for preschool IDEA and regular IDEA, and then we have the homeless grant as well that we didn't know what we were gonna get at the beginning of the year. We have digital equity, and then Title I was expanded a little bit more, and we're trying to use the carryover now. So we properly aligned all of those revenues. Expenditures, we are updating our projects as we talked about originally. Aspire, we went with a higher budget, obviously, but the good news is I think we're looking good. This might be the only time you hear me say that in a long time. I think we're doing good on that one. The HVACs you've seen where we're not doing so good. You just passed 2 things in the consent agenda associated with that. So that's gonna be a struggle, and that's gonna be a struggle for a while. I'll talk more about that at the next board meeting when we go over in more detail about the summer projects and where we're at. Then we talk about the other programs such as, what are we doing with the IDEA funds? We're using it for the special education needs that we have. Digital equity, what are we doing with those? A lot of Chromebooks and supplies, and same thing with Title I, and we're properly aligning it. So the big news is, we got more money than we typically have. We've said that with COVID, we have a lot of struggles, but financial situation is not one of those struggles. So we're very good shape, and this amended budget reflects what we've known accordingly. And if you have any questions now, tomorrow, or the next month, give me a call.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Is the 1% sales tax in this budget?
It is, but it really hasn't significantly changed from our initial estimate.
Okay.
So, the goofy things that changed, if you think about it, is like child nutrition. Last year we had no food. This year we're doing food, so we're gonna get more expenditures associated with that, more federal. But the sales tax, I didn't go to the level of detail where if we estimated that to be 3.8 million and it might be coming in at 4 million, I'm not gonna adjust that much. This is pretty simple, straightforward, and only the things that will cause us not to expend money for the needs of the district.
Any other questions? The recommended motion is that the Board of Education receive the amended budget for the 21-2022 fiscal year, place the amended budget on public display, and set April 11th is 2022 at 6 p.m. as the date and time of the public hearing to be held at the Coolidge Professional Development Room, 3430 Avenue of the City, Moline, Illinois, as presented and listed. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Kate Schaefer. Aye. Maria S. Trigueros.
Aye.
Andrew Wayers.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Chet DeSmet.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 7, approval of the Moline Valley School District's discipline and improvement plan. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the Moline Valley School District discipline and improvement plan as presented. May I have a motion, please? Oh, any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh, now discussion, sorry. There appears to be no discussion. Sorry, not.
Maria S. Trigueros.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Chet DeSmet.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Next is the approval of the intergovernmental agreement. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Moline for student internship opportunities. I have a motion, please. So moved. Second. Discussion. I actually have something to say. As a lifelong Moliner and the daughter of a man who worked for the City of Moline for 35 years, I could not be more excited about this. I could not be more proud of this, and I am so excited to see where this is going to go. This is a huge win for Moline High School, and this is a huge win for the City of Moline, and it's a huge win for our community. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dr. Savage. Thank you to those who have worked for the city. We're excited. So any other thoughts or discussion? Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Chet DeSmet.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Maria S. Trigueros.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Okay, number 9, the approval of the alternative to suspension teacher position. The recommended motion is the Board of Education approve the new alternative to suspension teacher position at the beginning of the 2022-2023 school year. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on this?
I just have a question.
Okay.
This is a new position that was open and it is open to internally first. Or is it-
I believe so. The high school is repurposing an FTE. And so this position, I believe, Matt, am I correct, will be?
That's correct. Yep, that is correct.
Available internally.
That's all. Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Audrey Adamson. Aye. Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Chet DeSmet.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer. Aye. Maria S. Trigueros. Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 10, transfer of certified staff. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the elective transfer of Teresa Sanders from the principal position at Moline High School to the revised 10-month coordinator of K-12 instructional programs position, formerly the 12-month director for K-12 instructional programs, effective for the 2022-2023 school year.
I'd like to move to table this for session conversation at our next meeting on the 10th of March.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, consider it tabled, please. Thank you. Okay, number 11, reports, requests, and open discussion. I'm going to start with superintendent's report, then financial from Dave, and then open discussion. So Dr. Savage?
Okay, very good, thank you. We have a lot of exciting things happening around the district. Our Moline Maroons high school basketball team is still in the fight. They play tomorrow night in Pekin against Normal, and we're certainly rooting for them. If they win, they will play again on Friday night. Our wrestling and swimmers have also done well. We are especially proud of our very own Ruby Cepeda, Moline High School female wrestler, who represented us well at the first ever girls wrestling state championship. Academically, student academic growth is increasing every day. Our teachers, staff, and administrators have done an outstanding job coordinating academic recovery efforts for our students at every level. With strategic use of teachers, staff, time, and instructional resources and materials, our students are making tremendous gains each and every day, and we are very proud of them. And lastly, spring break is just 3 weeks away. There's a newfound hope and optimism in our district with improving weather, improving conditions of the pandemic, and getting back to all of the events and activities that springtime brings for our students. I'm very proud of everyone's hard work and tenacity over the past several very challenging months and wish to extend my thanks and appreciation to everyone. And that includes the Board of Education. As a board, you have navigated unprecedented challenges over the past few years. The work is often thankless and behind the scenes. Thank you for the work you do for our students, staff, and families.
Dave.
Finances look good, as we said. If you have any questions about those, let me know. The only thing I do ask permission for, is just typically if we have a bid opening and there's only one bid, I come to the board and ask for permission to open it. We had a bid opening for music for the middle schools associated with Project Lead the Way. I only got one bid, so I will open that and then figure out what we can do and maybe at the next meeting.
Can you remind me real quick what Project Lead the Way is?
I'm going to defer that to Dr. Pribble.
Dr. Pribble.
Yeah, so, and Matt can join in on this, but the 21st, well, Project Lead the Way, are you talking about 21st century or Project?
Yes. Isn't that?
21st century.
Yes.
It's the 21st century.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so I'll let Matt take that since
I
it's
got it.
primarily. the same thing.
I like talking about this stuff. Project Lead the Way, we're doing it at the middle schools through our 21st century grant. It's a way to do enrichment. Project Lead the Way in and of itself, we do it at the high school in different modalities. But it's hard to end up fitting it into the school day sometimes, right? Because, you know, we have so many classes and mandated courses of study that we end up having to do. But we found a good way to do it in that we did it as enrichment. It comes with a lot of training and everything, but through 21st Century Lights On for Learning, we're able to end up offering this really cool elective course. And then as we get better with it, and you know as well as I do that how much the world and things are changing, that, you know, maybe one day this is something that we want to end up pursuing down the road. But it was a great opportunity to provide it as a wonderful enrichment program that a lot of school districts aren't able to do. It's a really cool program. Let me know if you want to talk more about it. I'll talk your ear off.
Thank you, Matt. Before I'm going to open discussion. I have something that I have been thinking on and that is very important to me personally. I only speak for myself, but I have said before that the passion for a cause, stating your thoughts on a matter is always welcome. That being said, these last few months, this board, administration, and our superintendent have been told that we are going to hell. We have received threats, and I personally have been called unrepeatable names, a liar, a coward, someone who wants to suffocate and see children suffer. It is my personal decision that I have decided I will not respond to abusive phone calls or emails. I want to thank members of this community who have spoken up, spoken out, and have done so with expression, but civility. You are always welcome, and your thoughts are always needed and wanted. Thank you. All right, anybody else have any open discussion?
Something I like to say.
All right, Kate?
So I just wanted to take a moment to share my concerns on the way our last few issues were handled by the Board of Education. And we have a process which includes careful consideration of how we protect our staff and our students. When individual members of the board circumvent that process, it causes misunderstandings within the community and among fellow board members. While some may have been ready to accelerate the relaxation of mask wearing, we as a board we're busy looking into the ramifications of making that move too soon. Would there be possible issues with funding, legal issues for the district? And Dr. Savage was aware of what each board member felt and was the correct next step. Once the questions were answered, we moved forward with the max recommended. We as board members are asked to review, and we have agreed to, our board norms. I urge each of us to think of those norms when interacting with staff, family, friends, and the community.
Kate, is there any other open discussion?
Yeah, I have a statement I'd like to read too.
Okay.
I would like to thank Board President Aaron Waldron Smith and Superintendent Dr. Savage for their diligence in coming up with the recent policy as it relates to COVID protocols in the district. We knew where we wanted to be as it pertained to the mask recommended, but we wanted to make sure we did so in a thoughtful and measured approach that protected the district. We respected the wishes of our community while navigating the process set forth by the state of Illinois, the courts, and the Illinois legislature. Unfortunately, one board member, Mr. Anderson, was not respectful of this process. His posts on social media attacking Dr. Savage, the district administrators, and this board were unprecedented, unprofessional, and uncalled for. At this last meeting, each member had an opportunity to lay out any concerns they had in open discussion. Instead of taking that opportunity to express concerns about our policy or the pace of change, Mr. Anderson decided to remain silent. Instead, he turned to social media to put this district on blast. While I absolutely respect Mr. Anderson's position on COVID protocols, his approach was not appropriate. I wish I could say this is the first time actions taken by Mr. Anderson have been less than above board. In the weeks leading up to our December meeting, Mr. Anderson instructed members of the cabinet not to mention his discussions with him to Dr. Savage, who is their supervisor. This is in direct violation of board policy 285 and 330. What is further troubling is Mr. Anderson either refused to or could not produce any substantiated evidence to support his rumors. This was a gross abuse of his position and undermined the objectivity of the board. Furthermore, Mr. Anderson has on many occasions met with the board attorney to discuss matters pertaining to board business without the knowledge or consent of the board president, superintendent, or board members. This is in direct violation of board policy 2160 and his oath of office that states that I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. The role of a school board member is to set policy. In these many instances, Mr. Anderson has obliterated these policies set forth by the board he serves on. I cannot sit idly by and be thought to be complacent in such disservice. It is my hope that with my remaining 3 years on this board, that we will continue to work with respect and decency, not only toward one another, but respecting the staff and community we are elected to serve.
Any further discussion? Dustin, do you have anything you would like to say? Okay,
I wouldn't ask a question. Don't need to respond.
I just wanted to make sure I gave you the opportunity. Okay. All right, any other open discussion, please?
This is not related to, so you mentioned the program of our sports teams. I would like to indicate we are in spring musical season and concert season as well. So Godspell is this week at Wilson Middle School. I'm not sure John Deere typically has something, but I'm not sure what is on their docket. And then Annie is at the high school next week, opening night. We do have a meeting that night.
The 10th,
and then,
right?
Yes. It is that Friday and Saturday as well, and then other band, choir, orchestra concerts the week after that. So if you want to get your music in during the weeks and support our students in that way, please consider doing so.
Following up to that March 10th, I appreciate everyone's flexibility. The week of our normal meeting, I will be in Kansas, being trained for a therapy dog for my school. It's a week long, so I just was not able to be there at that meeting. So I appreciate the flexibility. And while we're talking about other things like that, our speech team has done remarkably well. So, yay them. Okay, anybody else? Okay, then we, okay, sorry, we were going into closed session, just to, okay. We are going into closed session to hold a discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meeting Act, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by section 2.06. May I have a motion, please?
So who?
A roll call or a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are going to close session.